Welcome. Take it
So-
away, Greg.
Welcome, everybody, to Tell 65 Money. My name is Greg Newton. I am one of the co-founders of the Bureau of General Services Queer Division.
I'm Donnie Jokum, the other one.
And welcome to our virtual space in cyberspace.
Woo!
Speaking of cyberspace, I want to say a big thank you to our volunteer, Carlin Murphy, who is in the audience.
Yeah!
Carlin. Yay.
Carlin worked really hard on getting us a new website, and we have an online store now.
Yeah!
Carlin.
Here.
BGSQD boys. Yay. That's so exciting.
Starting out with a small inventory, but we're going to keep adding, and it's going to grow and grow. So thank you, Carlin, for all your work.
Yes.
You did a beautiful job. It
Yes.
looks really great. And I'm so glad you're here tonight.
Yeah. And the center probably won't reopen
Oh, yeah.
until January, so we will be virtual until that changes and they're open again.
Yeah. We were looking at doing a table at one of those holiday fairs, like at Bryant Park or Union Square. It was like the lowest was like $20,000 a table. So we're not doing that.
So we're not.
Speaking of money.
Yeah. Speaking of money, there you go.
Wait,
Uh-huh.
that was at the Union Square Fair?
I think that one was Bryant Park.
Bryant
but
Park.
I
but-
think it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
$20,000.
$20,000. A 10
For
by,
the season, but still.
but it's a 10 by 6 space, $20,000.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So visit our website
Yeah.
online.
so we're here to talk about money tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, Drae Campbell.
Oh.
Right.
Right? Drae Campbell?
Please welcome. I got off topic.
The inimitable
The one and only Drae Campbell,
superstar.
host of Tell.
Oh my goodness, yay. I just realized I'm going to have to do a costume change at one point because I have a super appropriate shirt for this theme and I can't believe I didn't think to wear it. You'll see, I'll do like an Oscar style, like who cares? But anyway, welcome. I'm so happy to see all of you. I get nervous about doing this every month, but I love doing it because it feels like a nice little sweet way to connect with the queer folk and narrative and thought. As I said, I think I said this last month, I feel like this is number 65, right? This is the 6th year we've done the show. And I think that we guesstimated that there's been like 325 stories. And I feel like each of those stories, if you like asked me, I would remember them or something about them. And I feel like it's this quilt of narrative in my head. And I do feel like that's kind of like what we're doing is stitching this quilt together of queer narrative. And that like is very important to me. And that's sort of the whole mission of this is, because a lot of people think, oh, queer storytelling, I don't have a coming out story, or I don't have a good coming out story. And it's like, we're so beyond that now. Like we have so many parts of ourselves that make us who we are as queer people. And we talk about money, we have pets, we, et cetera, we carry bags, we have parents, like we don't have parents, whatever. We have siblings, we, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like queering the narrative, and it's piecemeal work, and it's important work, I think, and it's fun. And it's an exciting way to connect and hold space. And I am very grateful to you boys, Greg and Donnie, for you have just held this space so gracefully from the get-go. Like and we have been in every space. We started in your store in Chinatown. Then you moved to the center, and we were like, woo, we're moving on up. And now we are in little squares in the air. Squares in the air. That's the internet. Hollywood squares. Woo. Ooh. Where am I? Point to where I am on your screen right now. Oh, it's so fun. T is over there. Right next to me is Johnny and Greg. Hi, there's T. And then T's next to them. And then right down there below me is E. And then like diagonally is Nina. It's very exciting. This is this is the excitement of our lives. I can't believe I feel so like happy right now because this is a very sad, awful time right now. I mean, it's always a sad, awful time, but so I try and find some like goodness and hope. But I just want to, you know, send special love out into the universe for RBG, and you know, if you pray a prayer for her, thoughts for her, and just grateful for her, and honored that I got to be alive during her tenure, I guess, as a person in the world and what she did. I know like it affects all of us every day in our lives, and I just that she had to hold on in the way that she has, and how important it was that she did in these last 4 years, especially, really like it hits me really hard. I'm sure it does you as well. And it's, whew. I knew that like it was coming. I'm sure all of us did, but it was like when it happened, it was like it's hard to even take on fully. So love out, and also Happy New Year, Rosh Hashanah. And what else? Oh, so money. So money is the theme. We do a different theme every month, and there's like all of these ideas about money. There's like the cash money, and then there's like the idea, it's which I really think is like super hyper beyond wealthy people are in this other space of money, and like moving, like how many people are going to die if I do this, like that kind of money. That it's like power, just ideas. One time I saw Laurie, and does everybody know who Laurie Anderson is? Anyone? She was on this crazy show. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Space Ghost Coast to Coast. It was when he used to do interviews with people. Does anybody remember that? It was like, it was a weird show that was like a talk show, and they would have live people talking to the cartoon, and it was such strange humor. But they had Laurie Anderson on one time, and she said something along the lines of Nixon creating the internet by changing the gold standard. And I always thought about that conceptually, that it had something to do with the idea of money and ideas. Something to chew on in your brain conceptually. I don't know why it made me think about that. Poor people are criminalized. Money creates class. It is violence. It's a constant battle of like shame and pride, I guess, of like, I didn't have enough money to do this. I myself grew up mostly very poor until and working class, extremely poor, and then like working class, which was like kind of a step up. Because it was like, when I was very young, we lived in hotels, and then like we moved to the suburbs and lived in apartments, but everyone else in the suburbs lived in houses. So it's like, you always kind of know your place. Here we are. And now I'm an artist, and I don't really like to engage with money at all. And I get very angry about it. And I feel like I have to sort of make peace with that in order to survive, because money's not really going away. I mean, it is going away in some ways. Right out of my pocket, honey. But I've been making, like when I was making the extra $600 on the unemployment, I was like, I'm making pretty good money right now. Anyone? Thank you. But now, yeah, it's like now I'm down to $150 a week and some savings. So, but I'm okay. I don't want anybody to be worried. Not trying to, whatever. I'm just talking about money. I'm just trying to be open. And, oh, you were able to buy a computer? Yes. Yeah, there's a few things I was like, I feel okay right now. I can, like, you know, buy a pair of shoes. But what's the point? It kind of, this whole pandemic has made me think, like, what's the point of these things? Right? Like, what were we doing? What's this great? It takes you off the treadmill and it makes you, it has made me reevaluate things. My dog is whining. What's the matter, Memphis? She's like, why are you talking into the air? Come here, boo boo. Come here. She's like, bitch, where's my money? Anyway, more on that later, but these are some of the thoughts I've had about money, and I'm going to bring on my first storyteller. Is my first storyteller ready? She's like, wait, yeah, I am. I'm gonna read your little your little bio before I bring you on. This is your second time at Tell, and were you at Tell like at the end of last year? Maybe, yeah. Like November, maybe? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And you're told an amazing story. You're a really wonderful storyteller. I'm so excited that you're able to come back. And here is your little bio, just to give you all an idea of what you're in store for. Nina Key is a Queerean, queer and Korean, American playwright who uses fantasy and magical realism to give voice to the communities that she belongs to. Originally from California, yeah, she now lives with her partner and 3 dogs in Brooklyn. 3 dogs. She likes her dogs better than most people. Yay! Give it up. I get it. For Nina Key! Yay!
Hello. So I feel like I did this last time too, where I was like, I couldn't think of anything, but then I thought of something. I don't know why I have to introduce myself like that all the time, but but I couldn't think of anything, and then I thought of something. But my story about money has to do with Korean church school, which, if you don't know, is a lot of Korean people send their children to Korean school. Happens on the weekends, and a lot of times it'll take place at church. And you would think that it being like a church environment and everything, that I don't know, it would be less like the real world, I guess. But in order to be popular in Korean church school, you have to have a little bit of money, you know, that really helps. Especially if you're donating that money to the church, that's a big thing. And also like your proximity to like the pastor or whoever, that also makes you somewhat popular. But my parents didn't even really go to church that often, so they were just like, my daughter needs to learn Korean to combat all the American that's happening in her life. And we're going to ship her off to the school every weekend. So I went to Korean church school. I was not very popular, again, because I did not go to church often. We did not have much money at that time. We were like, okay, you know, but we certainly weren't donating because we weren't going. But there was a group of really popular Korean girls, and I guess like the Regina, like if you could imagine a Korean Regina George, right? Like that would be Julie Kim, right? That's like the ringleader. She was the niece of the pastor. So, you know, she kind of was like, I'm the shit, you know? And then her best friend there was this girl named Eileen, who was like clearly very wealthy because she was always wearing like lots of designer stuff and like, you know. But they were the popular group in my class, and there was a bit of a, like, everyone was kind of afraid of them a little bit until I got there, and then I was like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm charming, maybe. I don't know. But I was like, you know, making friends, you know, and I was like, yay, who cares about popular? Let's just do this, you know? And I started making friends there. My really good friend there was this girl named Sandra, who really, really wanted to be one of the popular girls, you know, like even when we were talking, she'd be like, oh, I wish I could really hang out with them. They're so cool. Like, don't you wish you could hang out with them? And I'm like, we're cool by ourselves. Yeah, woo. And yeah, it kind of came to the point where it was kind of like I mean, I've never seen this movie. From the title, I'm gathering a Revenge of the Nerds situation where like people were, I don't know, like the lines, the popularity lines are kind of like dissolving, you know, which made Julie Kim mad. She was really mad about it. And I think she started to realize that she was losing her Regina George grip on the class. And so she very, very cleverly, like adolescent girls are just so fucking smart, you know? But she started to like kind of be like, hey, like come over here, you know, like let's talk. So one time she was like, oh, Nina, like come here, like let's talk, like let's, you know, oh, hang out with us, come hang out with us. And so I like spent lunch with them and like spent that day with them. But they were like, yeah, like about your friend Sandra, like, don't you think she's weird? Yeah, she's weird, right? Don't you think she's weird? And I was like, I mean, no, she's my friend. I think she's fine. Yeah, like I like her. And then the next time I went to Korean church school, I like didn't hang out with them. You know, I was like, okay, that was cool. That was a fun time. I'm gonna go back to my friend Sandra. We're gonna do this. I'm living my best life. And you know, that was that. But then the next time, it's very Julie Kim, she was like, this isn't working out, you know, Nina's not getting with it. So she started to befriend Sandra. And, you know, as I mentioned before, Sandra really wanted to be friends with them. So she ended up ditching me. And she became friends with Julie Kim, yeah, and Eileen, and they were just hanging out all the time. And, you know, of course, I'm like, oh my God, Sandra, you were my friend. Like, I drew you pictures of dogs. Like, we were friends, you know? And she was like hanging out with them. And at one point I was like, I like kind of like cornered her and I was like, Sandra, you know, you shouldn't be hanging out with Julie Kim and Eileen because, you know, they said you were weird and that's bad. Like, you don't want to hang out with people who think you're weird. That's really mean. And she was like, oh, I don't know. And then she kind of left. And then the next time, it's a very spread out story, but the next time I was in Korean church school, Julie Kim came, and then, you know, Sandra was kind of like hanging out in the back, you know, Eileen was like closer to Julie, but like not as close, like clearly Julie's, you know, in charge of the situation. And she was like, Nina, I heard that you've been saying that I said that Sandra was weird, and that's a lie. You are lying to everybody. You're lying to Sandra. You're a liar. Ah. And I was like, I was like, I mean, you said it, you know, I'm not saying anything that you didn't say. I was like, you, and Sandra's there like looking at me, like making like sad puppy eyes at me. Like, how could you lie? And I'm like, I didn't lie, I swear. She's a liar. Don't put this on me. But then after that, Sandra and Eileen and Julie, they're like the posse, and, you know, they made a coup, you know, if you will, of the 12 to 13-year-old Korean school group. And they got everyone to not hang out with me anymore. They like told everyone that I was weird, that I was lying. And I was like that sad kid with a book, like just like at recess and lunch, like just reading. And then it got to the point where I remember the teacher having this really weird talk where like right before we all went out to lunch, she was like, yeah, you know, Jesus like love thy neighbor, and I think that we should do this as well, kids. Like, and nobody really knew who she was talking. They're like, is it me? Like, am I supposed to be the nicer kid? Like, what is happening here? And I like look back on that now and as an adult, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was definitely about me. But Jesus doesn't want to get involved in this. He doesn't. But yeah, so you know, I'm just like out there living my life, reading books by myself every lunch period. And it got to the point where we were in the cafeteria and Julie like walks by me and she like shoves me, you know, like with her shoulder, and she like runs into me and I like stumble. It's like strong enough that I like stumble backward, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe it. It's just like, I can't believe it. I'm getting bullied. Thought I was so charming. I thought I was really cool. I was friends with all of you for like, you know, and now what a turn of events. But I neglected to mention this before, but I do have a brother, okay? His name is Tom, but my brother, how would I describe my brother? He started cursing in the 5th grade, and he is the type to like drop F-bombs every other word, which is going to become very clear in a second. So he saw Julie Kim like check me with her shoulder, and he's like, it's going to be a lot of curse words, okay? But I just want to replicate exactly how my brother did this, because he was like, you fucking bitch, Julie, what the fuck? You're being mean to my sister, you fucking bitch, I'll fucking kill you. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't even realize, like, you know, at that point too, my brother and I were much closer later on, but at that point I didn't even realize, like, you know, we're still like squabbling and stuff. So I was like, oh my God, I'm like taken aback, like I didn't even know he cared that much, you know? And then Julie is like deer in the heads, like oh no, I didn't do that to Nina. I don't know what you saw, but I didn't. He's like, you're calling me fucking dumb? You're calling me stupid, bitch? You're fucking dumb. And I was like, oh my God. And it got to the point where there was a small crowd gathering. And then he just kept going, you know, expletives, every other word, you know, fuck you this, fuck you. Don't you ever be mean to my sister again, you know, blah, 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 whatever. And then at one point, Julie realizes that she's not going to win this battle. You know, she's not going to get a word in. He doesn't believe her, you know, and there's nothing that she can say that's going to fix this. So she just kind of like creeps backward, like, I think I'm just going to leave, and she leaves. And then one of the bystanders is like, she was like an older grade student. And she was like, I'm going to have to get the pastor on this. Like, I'm going to have to, so she leaves to go get the pastor. And then there's no one for Julie. There's no Julie anymore to yell at. So he turns to me and he's like, and you, like, don't ever let people do that to you. Don't ever. And you know, like, I'm not gonna, it's one thing to fight with your peers, but like my brother, like I've been fighting him since I was, you know, whatever. So I was like, don't yell at me. I'm the person who was bullied, not you. Like, don't yell at me. I'm the wrong party. And so we're like going back and forth, back and forth. And then at a certain point, he was like, no, but Nina, like, you can't ever let them do that to you. Because at the regular school that we were going to, he was getting bullied pretty frequently. And he kind of developed a reputation as kind of like the aggro kid who would like fight a lot of people, you know? I mean, and like, I can see that, you know, because he was being bullied so much. But I remember like I don't even know if he was the pastor, but somebody administratively like came. He saw that it was me and my brother arguing, and he was just like, well, it's a sibling thing, so I'm just gonna back off. And then he was like, just work it out. Like, your brother and sister, you should love each other. Jesus, bye. And then he like left. And then, you know, my brother and I talked it out, but it just, when I was thinking about it, and I was like, what story do I tell? I similarly, as Drae, I was like, you know what is the moral of this story, right? Because I used to be an elementary school teacher. What is the moral? All of my stories must have a moral, right? And my moral of the story is that being, I don't know, in close proximity to Jesus or the pastor, and having lots of money, like, doesn't mean that you can't be nice, even if you have very rich, we haven't seen the tax documents, you're wealthy, a businessman, whatever, does not mean that you can be mean, to put it lightly. And that's all I'll say. That's the end of my story. Thank you so much for listening.
Yeah. So good. Being in close proximity to money. Money adjacent. Who is money adjacent? Does anybody have friends with money? Yay, give it up for Nina. Oh, I'm going to take this moment to remind you that if you didn't donate any money, you can donate some money via Venmo to BGSQD, and then it will be the way that we split it up amongst myself and the other 3 storytellers, and we give 15% to the bookstore. And you write "tell" in the memo if you would like to send a little money to us. People talking about money can't hurt. Oh, wow, that really brought a lot of things to mind. Gee, it had God, it had money, it had fighting, bullying. That story really had every single thing. Just wow. And you told it with like a big happy smile. It was like a cruel ass story. It's like, then they ostracized me and my brother was being bullied and he fucking, it's like religious, like hypocrisy. Oh, good old Christianity. Oh, they should just change the name of Christianity to religious hypocrisy. I mean, really? Hello. I have a short story that is literally about actual physical money that I've told before. And now it just reminded me. I'll try and like shorten it. But so I went through a breakup many years ago, and it was, I mean, I've been through a lot of breakups. But I was going through a tough time in addition to a breakup. This was it was like 10 years ago, I think. And my mom was in a nursing home and she was starting to like get dementia, and it was like really stressful. I was being kicked out of my apartment by my roommate, and I had a breakup. So I was having like a lot of stress in a short amount of time. And my response, I was responding mostly to the breakup with what I'm about to tell you. I would, anytime I had cash in my hand, I would write my name on it. And I started to do it obsessively. And I wrote just Drae, and I wrote little Aquarius symbols. And I would just like with big markers write Drae like across. And my thinking was, and I was getting like cash from like dog walking. And at that time it was like, it wasn't the apps and stuff. So it was like a lot of cash coming into my hands. And so I was writing it on everything all the time, like $20 bills. I would go to the bank and they would be like, you have your name. I don't want to talk about it. I just take the money. I don't want to. It's like, why did you don't? I would hand it to my friends to like be like, here's my share for the cab ride. And they'd be like, why is your, not, I can't. It was like a response to trauma. I don't know if it was trauma, but like sadness, I guess, or whatever. And the logic behind it was that the person that I broke up with, or who broke up with me, was a waitress. And I was hoping that she would be counting out her money one night and she would come across my name and she would be so sorry. It was like, I'll show her, like, I'm not going to contact her. I'm not going to have any kind of revenge other than she's going to see my name on a dollar and then she'll be sorry. Why? Money. Like, and it was like, she knows it's me because it'll have the little Aquarius symbol. Because, side note, when we met, she had told me, oh my God, I can't believe we've met. I have been manifesting the perfect Aquarius girlfriend. And you walked into this place where I work, this restaurant, and here you are, the perfect Aquarius girlfriend. And then like 8 or 9 months later, it was a disaster. But so I started writing my name on money with the Aquarius symbol. I mean, that's 1 + 1 = 2. Like, who doesn't do that? The normal response. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. But 20s, 50s, there are a couple $100 bills. I was like, I'm gonna show her when she gets, why? But it was my shit. And the only person really suffering in that scenario was me. Nobody was gonna, it's like, what? And by the way, I told this story once around Mary Cherry. Does anybody know Mary Cherry, the drag queen? She kind of is always high and really fabulous. She's like, I think I saw one of your dollars once. Anyway, it's like, of course you did, Mary Cherry. Did you? I love you. I love her, by the way. She's amazing. But anyway, so this is what happened. Some months later, and I did this for maybe like a year or so. I did it a long time, so maybe it'll pop up. But the weird, crazy ending to this story is that my best friend, my closest, oldest friend, called me one night and was like, I just got one of your $20 bills out of an ATM on Myrtle Avenue in Brooklyn. And I was like, what? Like, her and her girlfriend went and fucking were just withdrawing their money out of Citibank, and bitch, my name popped out at them. And I was like, of all the people in this world to get that, I felt like that was the person that needed to get it. Like, that's a person who is like one of my oldest, longest, most special relationships. EHAG the CHAG, by the way, whoever was here for this show that she did. I felt like she was like my safety net in life. Like, okay, I caught you crazy. And that's my little like physical money story. And I don't know why I thought like maybe it was like my weird little art thing. All right, so are we ready for our next storyteller? I'm so excited for you. E, are you ready?
I am ready.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna read You're ready. You're gonna be amazing. I'm just gonna read your little bio. This is your first time at Tell, right?
Yeah.
I'm so excited. By the way, I don't know if anyone else here has, but I modeled for E's underwear company, Play Out New York. Play Out NYC, follow them on Instagram. And it was very fun and exciting, and they paid me a little bit of money. Okay, coming from a background in the arts, E. Leifer, is it Leifer? Is that correct? Leifer. E. Leifer started their career as a painter and scenic artist, like tea, transitioning into film production and creative direction. They expanded their skill set by learning about marketing and business, and held positions as product styling manager for Net Up a Porter. Is that right?
Yeah, Net Porter.
Mr. Porter and Director of Creative Production at Intermix. As a non-binary member of the trans community and veteran in the fashion industry, E utilizes the culmination of all her experiences to learn and grow with the industry. As a brand consultant, photographer, and the CDO/co-owner of Playout Apparel, a gender equals social good enterprise that promotes diversity, inclusion, and body positive marketing. Everybody, please give it up for E. Leifer. Yay!
Thank you
Welcome.
so much for having me. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. I'm excited. This was an intense topic. I was like, whoo, so many. I sat down and I spent quite a while because I just had so many thoughts, and I was like, how am I even going to make a linear structure about this? But I feel like I've done so. Let's see. Let's see what it does. They say money is the root of all evil, and I actually strongly disagree. Money creates ability, and ability can create change. Ability is power. So, you know, money itself is just kind of the unwitting innocent in this whole thing. It's an instrument, right? A tool, a bargaining chip that enables transactions. But power is relative. And it can be like as benevolent or detrimental as the entity or organization who wields it. It's literally fucking paper, right? It's paper that isn't even big enough to wrap around a decent sized rock if you were playing rock, paper, scissors. It's like, why am I so afraid of this? Why am I so bothered? You know, it can just be numbers on a screen. And then all of a sudden it can turn to widespread panic when there's a mere minus symbol in front of it. It's life-changing, right? Everything can change in an instant. For me personally, money needs to have a job. It needs an assignment or a goal attached to it. I myself have a really hard time wanting money just for the sake of wanting money. You know, or because theoretically, if having a huge amount of money will give me some kind of Lex Lutherian power that I can go and enact fiendish plans, and you know, it's not that appealing to me. So I need a clear allocation and a why. You know, what can I create with it? How can I make change? How could I help people? How widespread could this change be? And what do I have to do to make it happen? But I didn't always know this about myself. I used to hate money. I hated talking about it. Just thinking about it gave me knots in the pit of my stomach, like every single time for a long time. And I would spend, you know, tons of time and energy in distractions trying to keep it out of my head. I would just try to avoid the unavoidable. And as I look back and I see, you know, I look on my life and I see that my relationship with money has changed many times over the years. Trying to understand my deep desire for it and sometimes simultaneous repulsion of it. It sent me on like decades-long roller coasters filled with, you know, sleepless nights, hangry arguments with significant others, you know, the occasional high roller moment when I really treasured them too, where I shouldn't have, but I could live like a king, you know? And for those brief and shining moments, I got to use money in a way that made me feel like I was treating those closest to me the way I always wanted to treat them. You know, I would have that like fast, casual yes to my kids for something we fucking didn't need at Target. I'd be like, yeah, let's get it. Put it in the basket. That's cool. Like, they're like, what? Who are you? Like, I don't even know who you are. You know, I'd have that, you know, last round, those easy late night words, you know, oh no, come on guys, it's one more, right? It's on me. It's solely on me. With my coworkers from the restaurant that I bartended at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Those moments like were really special to me. I thought that money was a lot simpler when I was in my 20s. You know, I either had it or I didn't, like that day, right? always in the process of getting a hold of more. There was always like high risk taking and you know, grand but short-lived schemes and small business startup plans with friends and you know, oh, I can, you know, I don't have to, I can only sleep for 4 hours and I can take on this other job and it's going to be fine. Like I can do this. I'm superpowers, you know, I'm 24. I have all the energy. And, you know, it was just this constant crazy cycle, right? It was so emotional. I really, at the end of the day, was just trying to keep my shit together because I was super young, stressed out, chaotic, half-closeted mother of 2 who was divorced and just like a shit show. You know, I'd get a really good paying gig and then literally I'd get the physical check in the mail and on my way to the bank to deposit it, I'd get an offender bender that would basically cost like exactly how much I was making, just about like how much that money was. And I was like, motherfucker, like all the time, just so upset, right? And I felt like I honestly felt like it was some cosmic conspiracy that was out to get me, like that would just trying to keep me from feeling any kind of financial peace ever. And that was the cycle, like that was a pattern, that was the norm for a long time. And until I was in my mid 30s and I had a lot of shit going down. It was just piles on piles of things, not going well and financially really tricky. And, you know, my daughter, like braces, you name it, like all the things that cost all the money. And I was just like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what, and I ended up having an epiphany, and I say epiphany lightly, right? I can say that now, it's super casual, right? It was more like an intense, overwhelming, life-changing fucking reckoning with money is what it was at the end of the day. And I did something, I changed something that was seemingly really small at the time, but I could never have imagined how the butterfly effect it would have on the rest of my entire life. It was huge. I really felt backed into a corner and I had to really look deep inside myself because nothing that I was doing on the outside was going to solve this. And I was feeling very hopeless and really just couldn't take any more stress, especially on this topic. And, you know, with little kids being all, I need this uniform, whatever, but I want to do this and I want them to do everything, right? But I was kind of losing my shit for a minute. And I just simply sat down and I had this moment alone and I just said, no, I'm gonna just take a no. I'm not available for this relationship with money anymore. Like, this is not something I'm able to do. So I just have to stop and say, I'm sorry, but no, money, I can't do this. Like, this relationship is done. We're going to start a new one. And the reason that it was different that time, because, you know, I had hemmed and hawed plenty, a million times over, but I think the thing that made this time different was my unapologetic willingness to do whatever it would take to stop the emotional roller coaster. And I said to myself, I said, if even one fucking person can create a better relationship with money, then I can do it too. Like, it's possible. It's possible. I am going to do this. I just can't, I'm not going to live this way anymore. And I accepted that it absolutely was something that I was doing or something I was not doing or some fucked up combination of the both of them or whatever. And I was just like, it's you know, it's on me, but as long as I can be aware of it and I cannot be ashamed of it, then I could change it. And shame is the big key here because, you know, once you douse something in shame, it's really hard to come back from it. Like, you have to like break it down and rebuild it from scratch because it's in there. It's like tainted with it, you know? And so during this journey, I would go on to learn and then train myself to believe and then finally accept that my value as a person was not attached to my earning potential. That what I have or what I wear or what I drive is not evidence that I am happy or content or fulfilled in any fucking manner. You know, that being able to eat or shop or give my children the material things that their world would have them believe equates to parents' love, could not define my strengths as a mother. Like it just was not going to do it anymore. And I had to endure several levels of complete deconstruction in order to reconstruct myself. But every time I did reconstruct myself, it was with a stronger, more solid core of love and acceptance and appreciation for the me that was kind of always buried underneath my like Southern California upbringing of full bullshit of how things are supposed to be on the fucking surface, right? It's full bullshit. And it kind of all over the years, it went hand in hand with like my sexuality and my gender identity and this overwhelming ageism that was implanted in me as a kid. But I, in fact, was able to resurrect many of the innate attributes that I began my life with and allow them to actually like foster my strength and be this integral part of who I was becoming again. And, you know, I'm not going to say that has been easy at all. And it's been decades in the making, right? I'm 50 now and I still am working on it all the time. I can't say that I've won this battle, but what money is to me and the like now and the way in which I'm not controlled by it, I'm actually genuinely finally motivated by its ability. It's very real. And, you know, that moment of ownership and that commitment to myself to change, and like knowing that the only thing that could change it was me, right? Like it would demand complete openness. It would demand that I re-examine and reconstruct pretty much every perception that I had carried with me my whole life. Like it was nothing short of terrifying, like literally fucking terrifying, with many, many moments of feeling like, whoa, this is, maybe I went the wrong way, or maybe I'm doing the wrong thing. But in the end, if I just hung in there, every time I would come back to this like middle place and be like, okay, I thought I lost ground. I actually was gaining ground. I need to learn, I need to unlearn some shit, and now I can move forward, and having it be better all the time. So it really is like the key to becoming the person that I am today. And it's so interesting because I'm not one to you know, allocate a lot of power anymore to money or how it can make me feel. But in all honesty, it really is like a huge part of who I am and how I function right now. So I have to give it credit where credit is due. You know, my goals for social change and broadening representation and visibility, not just in the queer community, but in all communities. And I live that in every aspect of my life. But I especially live it in my money life. And I try to just always harness that, and like it feeds and it directs my actions, because I always have these larger aspirations that I'm pushing everything toward. And all of that requires, all the stuff I want to do requires like a metric shit ton of money, but that's okay. Like I'm totally good with it. And I'm not afraid to have it come to me in order to do the things that I want to do with it. And I'm actually excited about bearing the weight of that responsibility to see all of these goals through to their end. And my why, it remains crystal clear all the time now. That's it.
Woo! Money, 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 money. You said I'm gonna say no to money. Is that what was the line, T?
I said I'm gonna have to say no to this relationship.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
I'm gonna have to give you. What was it?
I'm gonna have to give a no to
I'm
this
gonna have to
relationship.
give no.
No.
That ends here today.
Yep.
The money keeps coming, but the relationship,
Yep.
give me the money. I'm not going through this bullshit anymore.
I want the money without all the strings. Fuck that.
Oh, yes. Resources. Everybody. I wish them upon all of us. Money, 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 as much as you want, and many resources, and much health. Give it up for Leifer. Yay! You could do a little seminar on changing your life and your relationship to money. It's important. No shame. No shame. I need 20 million at least. That's what he said in the comments when we were asking earlier, like, how much money do you think you need to like sort of like feel comfortable? 20 mil. We're starting at 20 mil. That's what he said. Here for it. Holding space for it. I'm holding space for 30 mil here. Holding space for it. Has anybody ever seen like those interviews with Hollywood stars where they're like, I wrote myself a check for $40 million and I carried it around for 5 years. I did that. We're past the date of the check now. And it wasn't even that much. It was like, girl, go higher, baby. It was just kind of like, oh, this is a realistic expectation for like a big acting gig. It was like, I don't know, $65,000 or something. Just like, I want a $65,000 check for something that I did. Just a single one, not a year. Give me the check. I thought that was like a low realistic. I have to change my relationship like you. Carlin, I see you laughing. Carlin's like, $65,000 on it, please. No, I'm kidding. I think we should all get paid $65,000 for this tell. Everyone here, everyone participating, putting it out there, manifesting. New year, new you. Oh, Substantia's like, can I have some too? Everybody here. That's all I'm saying. I don't care what it equals. Just give us the money. I mean, come on. The Pentagon, they pee out billions on the daily. I'm tired. Exhausted. Anyway, yay! T's our final storyteller. T has done the show two times before? Twice before. Yay! I've collaborated with T many times, one of my favorite artists, collaborators, actors, brilliant, genius, Renaissance queer, and is our closer for tonight. And I want to read a little bit about their bio because they're amazing. Hold on just a second. And so handsome, by the way. Look at this.
Ray.
Yeah.
Sweet
Okay. What?
I said you're a sweet pea.
It's the truth. Okay. T.L. Thompson's credits include Broadway. That's just starting right off. Broadway, Straight White Men. Second Stage Theater, Is This a Room? Who saw Is This a Room, by the way? That was one of the best pieces of theater I've ever seen. You were brilliant in that. I don't know if you saw it. If you didn't, look it up. It just won a bunch of awards. What a brilliant, wonderful piece of theater. Seriously. Is This a Room? At the Vineyard Theater. Wafrika 123 at Awino. Is that right? Criminal Queerness Festival. Nervous System BAM next. Is that a BAM next wave?
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's all
Okay.
good.
I'm not reading it
I did some
correctly.
things. I got.
I just want
money.
people to know how accomplished you are and how amazing you are and how long you've been in this game. Oh my God, These Thems, The Hunted, Flush, directed by our Heather Och. Friday Afternoon, which is a film we did together with Paige Campbell. And also, T is a neo-futurist. Is neo-futurist, are you all still, are you doing stuff online or is it just?
We're doing stuff online. We have like a podcast now, and we're
Oh,
doing
cool.
sort of like live/virtual show.
Oh,
Called
good.
So yeah, y'all should totally check that out. I'll put the.
Yay, love them.
Yeah.
And you can find them at tlthompsonactor.com. We'll hear more about that. Just everybody, please give it up for one of my all-time faves, T. Thompson. Yay!
Thanks, Drae. You're the sweetest.
Ew.
Oh my goodness, money. Money makes my palms sweat. Money makes me hot. Money. I grew up Kansas City, Missouri. I guess we were sort of like lower middle class. My grandparents owned businesses, and all of the family would sort of work at the business. One business was a group home, and one was a casket company. So I spent a few of my early years having naps under caskets. Not weird at all. But so growing up in KC, Mo, we were just sort of like a normal kind of fam. So like I said, I had sort of like a weird maybe relationship with money. I wasn't making it. It was around me. It was nearby. It didn't really involve me. Fast forward, I moved to New York City when I'm 18 years old. Naps under caskets. I know, it's another story. It's another show. This is money. So I fast forward, I moved to New York City. I'm 18 years old. Well, at this point, I'm like 24, doing odd jobs, random things. I hadn't yet joined the painters union, so I was, bartending and waiting tables. And when I'm 24 years old, my grandpa, passes away. And I find out that when I turn 25, I'm going to get $20,000. And it's like, I'm 24 and a little bit. So I'm like, oh, that's sweet. I just, graze papaya for a few more months and I'm good to go. So, I'm just waiting. I'm, calling, checking in and seeing like what, because I'm, not making a lot of money, and New York City is really friggin' expensive. So, the money gets there, I believe on a Tuesday, and I don't have a bank account. So I have to go to a check cashing place. So it was $20,000, and now it's like 19 something because, they take a little bit off the top. So I'm like, fine, that's still great. Next day, I'm like, okay, I'm getting my girls together. We finna go out. And so I get my best 6 girlfriends, and we get together. And my other really good girlfriend, Larissa, works at this like fancy ass restaurant on like just off Washington Square Park. Doesn't even have a sign. That's how fucking fancy it is. So we go in and we are, it's like 3-course. It's like all the things. I'm like, yeah, of course we tip our girl, we give her some bills, she hooked us up with like 1 bottle at least, right? Okay. So now we're talking, that's like, and we're also celebrating because I'm about to go to Portland, Oregon to be with my boo at the time. She lives over there, and I'm like, all right, I got this. I'll move up over to Portland, Oregon. Okay. So we're celebrating. Okay. So that bill is at least $2,000 on that bill. So what are we at now? That's like 16. It's about 8, 17. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm fitting to go to Portland. Whole year that I'm in Portland, I don't have a job. My boo don't have a job. I'm paying the rent. I'm flying us to LA because she's got a friend in LA. And I'm like, all right, let's go see your friend. So LA, that's 3 people's tickets. I got 3 people's tickets. So we're at like 16 something. And then, we're on Rodeo Drive. I got to get leather pants. That's a little bit. And then, and then, you know, I was drinking like hard at that time. So like every place that we walked into, I'm getting at least around for the bar. This one particular bar, there was a bull. Bitch was riding a bull, making it rain. Okay, I'm down to maybe 14 when I leave LA. And it's been about not quite a year. So I'm saying it's almost about 8 months. Somehow I've managed to get down to about 5,000 in 8 months out of $20,000. And I'm like, okay, maybe I should get a job. And then I'm like, okay, do I really want to stay in Portland, Oregon? And I was like, okay. So Boo and I break up and I moved back to New York. I'm living with my good friend at the time and their girlfriend, and we're having, you know, booze and drug-filled evenings. And occasionally they're asking me for money. You know, it's my, you know, my best friend, and you know, it's like, you know, we live together, we're sharing things. Sure, a little bit of money. I'm paying the rent. They go out of town for some reason, and I feel like it's absolutely Thanksgiving. It's absolutely Thanksgiving. I've got at this point probably about like 2,000 of it left. And I'm like, okay, well, Thanksgiving by myself. Go to Boston Market, get me one of them rotisserie chickens. And Blockbuster's still around. So I get DVD, not a VHS, from Blockbuster. And I'm like, okay, this is my night. This is my night. I'm going home. DVD, roasted chicken. Get to the door. There's a fucking eviction notice on the door of the apartment. They hadn't locked us out, but it became clear to me once I got my chicken and my DVD in that they had maybe, my roommates had maybe not been paying the rents that I had been giving them. So, so movie, by the way, is Requiem for a Dream. Yes, bitch. Requiem for a Dream. Eating the rotisserie chicken and thinking to myself, man, if I ever get this much money again, that is not how I should do it. Dan.
I actually kind of think that is how you should do it. You fucking traveled. You did your party on your terms.
We did.
You ended up with a rotisserie chicken in your hand.
Drae, I could have had a house. Bitch could have had a brownstone.
You could have had a house.
That's 20 now.
You rode a bull and got leather pants. That's what Greg said. Actually, what I would like to see is like a zine or a graphic novel that shows the amount, and you call it 20,000, and you show like how much each panel costs of your adventure until it gets down at the end, and you're just standing there with next to eviction notice with Requiem for a Dream and a chicken. And it's like, here I am, honey.
Jay, we gotta make it. We know an artist. We have to make this happen.
This could even be a movie. Anyone? This is where your 65,000 is coming from, going to, ish. Either you're paying 65,000 or you're getting 65,000. You would make money. Kara says you would make it. Yep. Kara knows people. Let's get that. Kara, let's get this going.
Let's make it happen, Kara.
Kara could produce some shit.
I know.
Right? Kara,
Yes.
Francis?
When Kara comes back to town, where are you?
Yeah, where are you even floating in the world right now? Where are you, Kara?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, you?
Brooklyn the whole time, on the roof.
Aw, you two look very cute. Hi. Oh, that was a great. What?
I'll produce that movie. T.
I'm in.
Produce that movie.
I would love to play the rotisserie chicken.
Fuck yes.
Just. That was my audition. I'm rotisserating.
You hired.
Or I could play the best friend.
We got
Was there a
possibly-
cat? What?
There was a cat. There was a cat.
Or he's the bull.
Yes.
This is getting made, Kara. So, by the way, Kara Francis, great storyteller. I'm going to have you back to tell any story you want, but that story about your father, woo, honey. Okay, I think that's it. If anybody wants to donate some more to via Venmo, that will go to us. You can do it at BGSQD and just write in the notation that it's for Tell. And our next show is going to be on October. It's the third Saturday in October. And that is October 17th. Yay! We'll be in our cozy sweaters and getting ready for the weirdest Halloween on record, I think. It's like we're all already wearing masks. What? Just give me candy. Just throw it.
Bring your pumpkins. Bring your pumpkins.
Wear your mask.
Wear your mask.
How weird is that gonna be? I'm the pandemic. What? Just why? Anybody plugging anything that we should know about? Anything? Anybody got anything? No. What's next for BGSQD? What's the next?
Our next event is next Friday, Voices of LGBTQ+. It's actually a straight mom who's pulled together stories from various queer people, including her son. She's one of those, a good mom. The mom we all should have.
Oh, I love those P-flag folk.
So that's next, did I say? Next Saturday.
Next
A week
Saturday.
from today, yeah.
Yep.
And then, yeah, we got some other things lined up. David Pratt, Brontes Purnell, gonna read
Ooh.
October 1st. And we have an online store.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Is
Go to the
it
website.
just bgsqd.com?
Go there and you'll see it.
Yep.
Okay, so we can buy stuff from them online now, folks. And then Nina, you wrote a children's audio drama for Girl Tales called The Legend of Yule. And you can find it wherever you listen to stuff. Yay! And then hit play podcast and NY Neofuturists, bgsqd.com/store. Gabriella says a good theme idea would be mothers. Ooh, that is a good idea. We may have done mothers or motherhood once, but we can always do it again. It's been 6 years. I mean, I don't know if I've repeated a theme yet, so might be time. I also want to encourage everybody to volunteer to do something for the election, because I got really scared when I saw everybody being like, we're fucked now. I don't really believe that. I don't want to believe that. And I think that like the whole premise of this whole situation is that we as people have to take back the power, and we have to do it how we do, volunteer, phone bank, look up ways, donate to your to whoever you want to donate to that gets Donald Trump and the Senate flipped and supports Black Lives Matter and POC organizations. Make the Road is one. SURJ, Show Up for Racial Justice. Anybody want to put anything in there in the chat? You can write postcards, you can phone bank. I was phone banking for AOC recently, calling people in her district, asking them if they've taken the census, make sure you do the census. The deadline either is going to be at the end of this month or the end of this next month, but I think the end of this month. I found out that each person that fills out the census, it's $6,000 per person in that district.
Oh my God.
Isn't that insane?
That's a lot.
So that's why they're like, please, please, please. And like in AOC's district, which in the Bronx is one of the poorest districts, it's like only, I think 58% have filled it out. So it's like, you know, if you can call and get people and, you know, just there's a lot to do and we have time to do it right now. So I encourage everybody to, especially with what happened last night. And I'm sure there's a million things I'm not thinking of, queer organizations that we could show up for. And also I heard tonight, you may want to look this up. I follow a lot of stuff on Twitter that people are showing up to mourn at all the courthouses across the country at 8 p.m. tonight. If anybody's interested in that, be safe. And I think that's it. Anything else? Yay, you all, by the way, give it up for Nina Key, E. Leifer, T. Thompson. I love you all. That was really wonderful. It was a great way to spend our time. And thanks for this amazing, beautiful queer audience. Keep queering the narrative. Greg and Donnie holding this space. I love you guys so much.
You too.
And I love all of you guys. Yay.
Post this on the YouTubes.
Yay, everybody's amazing. You're all adorable. I'm seeing your little pictures. Oh, all right. Take
Good night,
care. Stay in touch.
Good
See you
night.
soon.
Love.
Bye. Love you. Thank you.